The BRICS account for more than 40% of the global population and nearly a quarter of the world's gross domestic product. Well, Alexandre Kateb is an economist specializing in emerging markets. He joins me now on the set for more. Alexandre, how much is the war in Ukraine and Russia's role in that war going to dominate this summit?
Well, I think the war in Ukraine will definitely be one key point of the discussion in this summit. But I think this summit will focus on the alternative, actually, to the Western-led world order that has shown its weaknesses and its threats for countries like China in regard to the sanctions that were imposed on Russia, especially the sanctions on the Russian Central Bank and other very massive sanctions on the Russian financial system. So there is now a sense that there should be an alternative to this system, and I think the BRICS countries are actively working together to put in place this alternative system.
Right. And would you say that the way the other BRICS countries have been acting is basically a tacit approval of the Russian invasion? We have China, who's refused to condemn it, India, who's bought large amounts of Russian oil at a discount.
Right. I think it's not about tacitly or approving or explicitly approving these actions. As Charles de Gaulle once said, states have no friends, they have only interests. And this is what this summit shows, actually. All these countries know that this crisis will have an end, that the war in Ukraine will have an end, but that the long-term challenges that these countries are facing together will not fade away with the end of the war, and that actually it makes sense for them to consolidate their ties with Russia, especially in the energy sector. And this is what have been shown as of late with these exports of Russian oil to India and to China growing at an unprecedented rate, actually.
Now, this comes, of course, as inflation is skyrocketing around the world. There are growing concerns about the global economic outlook. How big a role will the BRICS countries play in the world economy, or do they?
I think they already play an important role. I think this role will grow even more and bigger in the future, because what this crisis and other crises that we have been through have shown that there is not a really very effective mechanism to ensure coordination at the global level. Even the G20, for example, that has been sidelined as of now by the Western countries, which now put focus again on the G7. So actually, we are moving to a much more fragmented world. And in this fragmented world, there will be a need for alliances and for coalitions to solve problems. And I think in this context, the BRICS role will grow even further.
So China is hosting this summit virtually, but still it's hosting it. Is its main goal to get the BRICS countries to line up behind it to counter the United States?
Well, it is indeed one of the tacit objectives of the Chinese leadership, I think, to get the BRICS countries behind it, especially at a time when China feels pressured more and more by the United States and their allies, especially in the South China Sea, for example, with the Quad that has been building momentum in this area. And by the way, it's also somewhat of a paradox, because a country like India, for example, is a member of the Quad. So it is aligned with the US on some issues like regional security, but on the other hand, it feels that it has to have good relations with China. So nothing is really clear-cut or is as simple as the Chinese or others would like to portray it. But there is a momentum, and there is actually a rationale for this evolution for the BRICS to grow even stronger.
Alexandre, thanks so much for coming in and sharing your expertise with us. Alexandre Kateb, an economist specializing in emerging markets. Thank you.